Welcome to this bonus episode of Africa A to Z. So this is a bonus from episode 6, where I briefly touched on El Negro. El Negro de Banyoles is an interesting story. And as I said in the podcast, I'll let you form your own judgments. Apparently, a Frenchman was in Africa in the Cape region around 1830, and he witnessed a burial. And for whatever reason, he decided after the burial that he wanted to dig the man up that he saw being buried and take him with him to France, take his body to France and display it as a curiosity in museums and art galleries. This was a practice that was done with animals and sometimes with live Africans and live people from around the world. So this man went back one night, under cover of darkness, dug up this body, brought it to France, stuffed it, put wooden boards and sticks so that he could use the body and shape it and have him standing in particular poses. Removed his eyes and put glass eyes in so his eyes could be open and look like he was still alive. And this man displayed this dead man's body in Paris, in galleries, and in the different places in France. And this went on for about 50 years. But at some point, we're not sure how, this man's body wound up in the possession of a Spaniard. I believe he was a veterinarian. And so this person, this Spanish doctor, took this man's body to Spain to do the same thing, to set him up in art galleries, museums, for people to come and marvel at this person. That's a real human being, is what people would be told. And this went on for over 100 years. It was such a big deal that when Barcelona in Spain hosted the Olympics, there were protests because people said this is going to be offensive to the African athletes. So I believe Jesse Jackson, the late Jesse Jackson, was amongst the people protesting, along with UN Secretary General at the time, Kofi Annan, because people said, this is offensive. This is not right in this day and age. It's the 90s. But Spain said, no, it's not offensive. We're not letting it go. And the village where the body was called Banyoles in the Catalonia region of Spain. So it's a Catalan situation. And they said, no, we love him. He's ours. Eventually, the body was sent back to Africa. There was a Haitian doctor, Dr. Arcelin, and I believe his name was Alphonse Arcelin. And Dr. Arcelin decided that he wasn't going to let this go because this was an affront to him. And he campaigned and he petitioned, and finally he won. He was successful. So don't let anybody tell you that your voice doesn't matter and that you can't make a difference. But that's another story. So El Negro de Banyoles was what it was called, was eventually reinterred, but not in Cape Town, which is where he was disinterred. He's been reinterred in Botswana, and they've given his skeleton a place of rest and honor after over 100 years of standing during his death. So it's a very macabre story, right? They did a lot to his body to keep it preserved. As I said earlier, they put sticks in the body to make the arms stand. They had him in a loincloth for a long time, and then he was holding a spear. Then when they moved him to Spain, they felt the loincloth was too immodest, so they put another different covering over his genitals, but shirtless and with a spear. And in Spain, they put shoe polish on him to make him look darker because he was more than likely of the Khoisan people. So his skin color wasn't, I guess, what they would consider black enough. So they blackened his skin with shoe polish. So these were all of the things that were done to this man before they finally agreed to send him home. However, because it had been over 100 years that his body was standing, his skin had been damaged. When they decided to take all of the sticks and things that they were using to prop him up out from under his skin crumbled. So the story gets even weirder here. Rather than return the crumbled skin with the bones that they were going to reinter in Africa, they decided to keep the skin. So his disintegrated skin particles are still in a museum in Spain, the Anthropological Museum in Madrid. No longer in the little art gallery in the little Catalonian town. Now his skin is in the museum in Madrid. His spear, however, I believe is still in Banyoles, and his bones are buried with honor in Botswana. So this strange story takes an even stranger twist because someone decided they just couldn't let it go. And they just kept asking questions and digging and wanting to know more. So we found out a little more about him. We found that he was 27 when he died, and that he was more than likely a chief, and his name was Molawa the Eighth. So just think about that. If he was Molawa the Eighth, that means there were 7 generations of Molawa ahead of him, at least, in his land, in Africa. And rather than let his remains rest in peace, they decided that he needed to go to Europe and stand for over 100 years. His dead body, the desecration of it all. I guess I said I would let you make your own decision. I guess I couldn't hold it in. There is a documentary. I just found out about it. It's on YouTube now. And it's El Negre de Banyoles, or the Black Man of Banyoles. You can look it up as, in English as the Black Man of Banyoles, because my understanding is not really even in Spanish. It's in Catalan. So that's a different language. If you speak or understand Spanish, you still may not understand everything that's being said in this documentary. It's a short one. It's a 20-minute documentary it's on YouTube. It came out in 2020 as this filmmaker, this Spanish filmmaker, wanted to make reparation. He wanted to repair what was done to this man, to Molawa the Eighth. And so he set out to document this story and share it. So I invite you to watch. It's called The Black Man of Banyoles, the Stuffed Man, because he was stuffed and mounted like an animal. Let's watch it. Let's learn. And let's grow together as we explore and journey through Africa. All right. Thank you for your patience with this bonus episode. And I hope that you'll join me for our next episode, where we go to Burkina Faso.